Are allowed and then expected to examine those who will present the closing arguments or not. I don't care really any which way. I just want to know. Thank you.
Majority Floor Leader.
We will submit it to the body later after the arguments, Mr. President. But the tradition is that, well, in the courts, is that it may be allowed depending on the judge. But in our case, we have not taken that up formally. We can probably take it up also, as I said, after the arguments. So with that, taking into consideration the point raised by Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, may I move that we recognize for the presentation of the arguments for the House of Representatives, Representative Tupas.
Thank you.
The gentleman from Iloilo.
Yes, but may I just speak? May I just speak first? Mr. Senate President, earlier, the prosecution conferred with the lead defense counsel, and we agreed that the prosecution will speak first, then the defense, then the second speaker for the prosecution, then the second speaker for the defense, then the prosecution will close the argument to be delivered by the third speaker.
But under our rules, the opening argument is supposed to be done by the prosecution.
Yes, sir. That's why we will open it. But the presentation will be alternate, meaning we will open it, first speaker from the prosecution, then defense, then prosecution, defense, then prosecution will close the argument.
So you have 3 times to speak, 2 times for
Yes, sir.
the defense.
We admit, Your Honor, and we really had agreed on that, subject to the approval of this honorable
Is
court.
there any objection from the members of the court?
We have no
chair
objection,
hears none. The motion is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Mr. President, permission to begin the closing arguments for the prosecution. May I
Proceed.
ask permission? Thank
Proceed.
you. Mr. Senate President, honorable members of this Senate Tribunal, Mr. Speaker of the House and Majority Leader, fellow members of the House, counsels for the defense and prosecution, my fellow Filipinos, good afternoon. Like all defining moments in our nation's history, we are once again called upon to make a choice between right and wrong. The day of reckoning is here. Everyone has said his piece. It is now time for us to make sense of all the pain that this impeachment trial has caused. Let it be clear that we meant not to destroy a man, but to destroy the evils that plague our system. We do not rejoice over the fact that in the process, deep wounds were inflicted. But sometimes, great pain must be endured so that genuine healing may begin. Today, we lay down before the Filipino people and this impeachment tribunal the truths that have come out of these proceedings. Tungkol saan po ba talaga ang impeachment trial na ito?
Excuse me, Counsel. At this point, I would like to inform the court that if there is any member of the court that wishes to ask clarificatory question about the statement of any speaker here in the course of their argumentation, you raise your hands, you will be recognized by the majority floor leader, and you may posit your clarificatory question, and you have 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes.
Is that after the delivery of the speech, Your Honor?
Well, or maybe if that is the pleasure of the House, after each speaker has delivered his speech. Okay, so order.
May I proceed now, Mr. President?
Proceed.
Tungkol saan po ba talaga ang impeachment trial na ito? More than anything else, this impeachment trial is about our people's aspiration to regain the greatness that was once ours. For how can we inspire greatness in our people if it is not greatness that sits on the thrones of power? We Filipinos come from a long line of maharlikas and heroes with rich and proud heritage. Our history is lined with honorable men and women who suffered so much in the name of country. 70 years ago this month, Chief Justice Jose Abad Santos died in the hands of the Japanese rather than betray his country. 50 years ago, former Chief Justice Manuel V. Moran, who was offered a chance to return to the Supreme Court, refused a midnight appointment rather than dishonor himself. Today, we have a Chief Justice who has been impeached and now faces judgment before this honorable tribunal. Obviously, we took a wrong turn somewhere that led us to stray from the path of greatness. That is why, on December 12, 2011, an overwhelming majority of the members of the House of Representatives, 188 in all, heeded the people's call for truth and impeached Chief Justice Corona for culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayal of public trust, a new ground for impeachment under the 1987 Constitution. On January 16, 2012, the prosecution commenced the presentation of evidence that cast serious doubt on Respondent Corona's moral fitness to remain as Chief Justice. Chief Justice Renato Corona must answer to the people for his wrongs. Sa 8 articles of impeachment na inihain ng Kamara dito sa Senado, hindi na po namin kinailangan pang i-present ang 5. Dahil sa 3 articles pa po lamang, kumbinsido na kami at alam namin kumbinsido na ang taong bayan, hindi na karapat-dapat manatili sa pwesto si Chief Justice Renato Corona bilang maestrado ng ating bansa. Our quest for truth has led us to many truths about the Chief Justice. It has led us to the truth that the Chief Justice failed to disclose to the public his statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth as required under the 1987 Constitution. It has led us to the truth that he lied about his assets in his SALN to conceal his enormous wealth. It has led us to the truth that he peddled his position of power in exchange for material gain. It has led us to the truth that his loyalty does not lie with the Filipino people. On the whole, it has led us to the truth that he is in public service not to serve his country, but to serve his own ends. Article 11, Section 17 of the Constitution requires all public officers and employees to submit a declaration under oath of assets, liabilities, and net worth, with an additional requirement for the highest officials, including the Chief Justice, that the declaration shall be disclosed to the public in the manner provided by law. A prime objective of the framers of the Constitution in requiring SALN was to strengthen the accountability of all public servants and to root out the perennial problem of corruption and abuse of power in government. To be meaningful and effective, the SALN requirement must be complied with truthfully, completely, and accurately. It must be complied with in good faith. No amount of denial, no lame excuse whatsoever can stand against the best evidence itself. The SALNs of the Chief Justice from 2002 to 2010, executed by him under oath, year after year after year. Respondent Corona has repeatedly failed to truthfully and accurately disclose Nisal and numerous assets and real properties which he and his wife own. Luxurious